What up, fam? Manly Brandon here. Today I'm doing a little change of pace video. In honor of me wearing the Static X shirt, I wanted to do a video on 10 bands from my youth that I feel like were underrated and don't get as much props as they deserve. You may disagree, you may not like them, but all these bands still get spins in my CD player to this day. And so yeah, we'll start it off with my favorite band, the number one for me, Static X. Like I feel they're not getting the due that they didn't get the due in their time that I think they deserve. Like their first album, Wisconsin Death Trip, blew up. And then Machine came out, and that's my personal favorite album by them. And it was such a hard departure from the more danciness to Wisconsin Death Trip into a more industrial metal thing. That I think they lost a lot of fans. And then after that, no one they didn't really ever regain that original boost. But I think that all their CDs have great songs on them. Even their new stuff, with the new singer Zero, who is Edsel Dope from the band Dope. Spoilers, that's going to be popping up here later. But yeah, Static X, very underrated, very awesome. Go check them out. Also check out Wayne Static's side project Pig Hammer. If you can find anything by Deep Blue Dream, which was Wayne Static's old band, I think Billy Corgan was also in that band, crazily enough. So yeah, check it out. They've got a pretty complex musical legacy. They've done a lot of features. You can find featuring Static X or featuring members of Static X all over the place, and they're always worth checking out. They added like a little bit of element of dancey metal that's really fun, and that's it. Like Static X is fun to me. Like it's a very fun band. So check them out if you haven't before. They're the Kings of Riffs from the 2000s, and they just kick ass. Uh, Another band that I think doesn't ever get nearly enough props just because they're overshadowed by their arguably more talented, better in every way cohorts, but Mushroomhead. Yeah, I heard a large portion of you groan when I said Mushroomhead because, like, obviously Slipknot exists. You know, we got Slipknot at home and it's Mushroomhead, but they couldn't be more different. Slipknot and Mushroomhead, the aesthetic is similar, but that is it. Like the music they make is not at all similar, and it's very different. And yeah, they're still going to this day. They just had a CD drop. Very few original members left, but still worth checking out. I highly recommend their albums Double X and 13. I believe that was their creative high point. Double X was like all their other albums kind of finally coming together into the perfect debut. I know that wasn't their first album. They had like Super Buick and M3 and all these other ones, but songs off of all those other lesser albums became Double X, and that album is a fucking certified hood classic. And then 13, great all the way through, like shows the depth and complexity of their songwriting, and the lyrics are like very introspective about questioning your place in the universe and relationship with God and all that stuff. So it's very cool. Yes, their singers are kind of like hard to get past. Jeffrey Nothing has a very strange delivery, and he looks like Tom Arnold, legit. And then J Man Jason Popson, he has like a pretty like a standard like metal growl, and he has got like the heavier vocals, but he likes to rap, and he gets like this bravado in his voice when he raps. It's kind of silly, but overall it works really well. The music is kind of simplistic in the background, but they do rip out some complex stuff every now and then, and they just really know how to mix in like synths and stuff like that. So Mushroomhead, very underrated. I think you guys like should give them a shot. Like they have enough CDs that like you can go through and like find at least one or two songs over each one to create yourself a decent Mushroomhead playlist where you can go, okay, I can appreciate that these guys at least put out one entire disc worth of good songs, and that's the greatest hits right there. So I think you can assemble your own Mushroomhead greatest hits and enjoy yourself with that. Number three, I'm going with Orgy. Orgy, big for a time. Obviously, any band that gets kind of famous for a cover, that is always going to be a hard sell for like long-term sustainability. But their other songs are really great. Like Stitches is like, I like Stitches better than I like Blue Monday. Their second album, Fiction, Dreams, and Digital, had some bangers all over that thing. Punk Static Paranoia, that's a good album. Like people that hate on it, but I thought it was pretty good. I wish they would put out more music. The sample size is very limited, and they always get said they're derivative of Marilyn Manson. I don't think they sound like Marilyn Manson at all. but they have like that kind of sci-fi tinge. Like I used to think that Orgy was going to be what music sounded like in the future, because that's like dancey, electronic, and all that stuff. And unfortunately, in 2025, music just sounds like it sounds like, and it's terrible, and it's like mood and vibe music, and it's like very boring and like makes me want to go to sleep. I recognize that some of those artists are very talented, and I'm too old, and old man yells at cloud or whatever. But geez, I really wish we had the future where music sounded more like Orgy and less like Billie Eilish. So yeah, so Orgy, check them out. They don't have a lot of CDs, so they're easy to track down all their stuff. Highlights, like I said, Stitches, Opticon. Opticon's my favorite Orgy song ever. Fiction, Dreams and Digital, Blue Monday, obviously. So yeah, check them out. If you want to have like the hackers movie version of what the future should have been, the future we didn't get, like when we went through the wrong door or whatever, we made the wrong choice along the way, and that's kind of where we're at. Another band, like I said, Dope. Dope. I love Dope. They get hated on a lot, a lot, a lot. Like people clown on Dope all the time. They're the best dressed band in metal. Edsel Dope. He's a multi instrumentalist, and he's just good. I love his voice. Like he's not the best singer, but like for what in the context of what he does, I think it works really well. I really love Dope. Every single one of their albums, from Felons and Revolutionary all the way up to Blood Money Part Zero so far, very good. Like I mentioned before, Edsel sings for Static X now, so he's been doing a lot of that stuff. But he's also like really creative behind the scene. He directs. They have like cool gimmicks to their CDs, like Group Therapy. Every song on the CD had a music video, which was very cool. They just make really good new metal, like just aggressive, angry teenager music for somebody who's in his 40s. So yeah, like I still dig it. I always spin Dope whenever I get the chance. Some of their highlight tracks, obviously, "Fuck the Police," "Sick," "Bitch," uh, anything off of Life. Life is probably their magnum opus, which sucks that they fumbled that release so bad. Um, yeah, just check them out. Dope, very good. I'll always gonna stand up for my boys in Dope. Uh, Powerman 5000. Do you know they're still putting out albums to this day? Yeah, yeah. They have a ton of albums, and of varying quality. Like, cause Spider One's limited vocal delivery kind of limits what they can do musically, but I love it. Like the chanty, non-sung, kind of just like talky. It works. It works in the realm of Static X, and they're another, or not Static X, but Powerman 5000, and they're another band that I really thought was going to be kind of the future of what music would sound like. Like on one end, you would have the gothier Orgy, and then the more sci-fi nerdy Powerman 5000. But it never came to pass, and sad days. I had to retire my fireman outfit and hang it up. But yeah, Powerman 5000. They got big, and then they kind of fell off. Underrated. Just people just kind of forgot about them way too quickly, and it always seems to come down to like the album after their breakthrough was supposed to be big, and then something happens. Like they fumble it, or they switch their sound too much, or something, and they decided just not to release it. And then they came out with Transform a few years after that, but by then it was too late. But Transform, great album, by the way. Just anyone for Doomsday would have probably launched them into the stratosphere, because it was more of the same right when it needed to be out. So RIP to that. But they've had a long career, and they're still kicking ass to this day. And you should check them out. You may be surprised by some of the quality of some of the stuff that they're putting out to this day. Uh, Another band that I feel like kind of underrated from my youth is what the hell? Primer 55. No, it's not Primer. I had the whole list and I lost the list. So now, like, this is how bad it is. I'm underrating them myself. Oh, Devil Driver. Devil Driver was the band after Coal Chamber broke up, that the lead singer of Coal Chamber had, and he still has it. And they fucking wail. They don't play new metal. They play like a groove, a new wave of U.S. heavy metal. And they've been putting out the same album for the last 20 years, and I don't care. I absolutely fucking ride with Devil Driver. They lost their amazing drummer, John Becklin. He went to play with Bad Wolves, and I'm not a big fan of Bad Wolves, but I always got to admit, The drumming in Bad Wolves is way better than everything else in Bad Wolves because John Becklin is a fucking beast. So yeah, Devil Driver's still putting out albums. I just bought their album like last year. They have a country album. They did all kinds of stuff. So yeah, definitely check out Devil Driver. You will not be disappointed if you are a fan of aggressive, just heavy metal. Murder Dolls. Murder Dolls, unfortunately, will never be able to put out anything else. But I was a big fan of Wednesday 13, the Frankenstein drag queens and all that stuff. But ooh, I got a wasp. But yeah, so Murder Dolls was Joey Jordison, Trip Eisen, and Wednesday 13. And then obviously Trip Eisen became a huge creep, and he was replaced with AC Shea. I can't remember. They all have dumb names, but basically it's Joey Jordison of Slipknot and Wednesday 13. They were on an episode of Dawson's Creek, so you know, like they're OG as heck. But yeah, they were definitely ahead of their time with the horror movie aesthetic and the kind of punky sound to them. I really love Murder Dolls. Beyond the Valley of the Murder Dolls, get the deluxe edition, has all the extra songs. And Women and Children Last, definitely two solid movies. Throw them on Halloween. You'll love it. You won't be disappointed. Number 8, and I don't know how to feel about how to like really say this, but like the first 2.5 albums from Rob Zombie after he left White Zombie are certified hood classics. Everything else after that is not so great. He kind of came back with his last album and he had a couple songs on there, but he's getting too far into like the white trashiness of it all instead of the metal aspect, and like he loses me there. I think that losing Riggs, and who went on to form the band Scum of the Earth, really cost Rob Zombie more than he would like to admit, because Scum of the Earth still kind of sounds like old school Rob Zombie. But yeah, so the first 2.5 albums of Rob Zombie, I think they're over and underrated at the same time, because like I wish we could go back to that sound, that just heavy as shit, aggressive, angry Rob Zombie. But yeah, we don't get that anymore. We get like weird Carnival Teller Rob Zombie. But yeah, I still love it. I would definitely check that out. I still remember buying Mechanical Animals and Hellbilly Deluxe on the same day, and just absolutely just loving that situation. Having two very, very cool shock rock albums at the same time, like the pinnacle of that era. Definitely worth checking out. So yeah, if you can get your hands on a copy of Hellbilly Deluxe or The Sinister Urge or the first half of Educated Horses, or not even the first half, just like half the songs on there. Some of them are really good. Some of them will grow on you. But after that, it just kind of, I was like, oh, this is not so good. The next band I want to talk about is, I think I have one of their CDs down here. Actually, no, it's not even a band. It's the soundtrack to Hackers. I have both of the soundtracks to Hackers. I thought EDM music was going to play a bigger role as it merged into metal. Like the Spawn soundtrack and the Blade 2 soundtrack and all these like soundtracks that mix these EDM bands together with other types of music. I thought that was going to be a revelation and it was going to be the big thing going forward. And then it was, and then it wasn't. So yeah, if you like dance music, definitely check out the Hackers, both albums. I have both of them down there. Just very, very good, worth checking out. But yeah, so I guess since I lost my list here, I'll stop it there so I don't just ramble and like look around for any clues. But I'll come up with part 2 of this list. But those are just some of my favorite underrated bands that I think you guys should check out. All of them have stuff in there that I think you'll like if you're a fan of heavy music, or angsty music, or just angry music in general. So, all right, I'll see you guys at the credits.